basically what we learned is that, it's so difficult to fund things in the classroom, especially hands-on science activities. So we thought, we were brainstorming on this, and we talked to a lot of our partners, and Estes had a great idea, which is they have a kit that we're gonna show today, and we're gonna unbox, and they have a grant that can be used to purchase this kit. And we're gonna talk about how you can apply for that. And we have Kathy, who's an expert at writing these, and we have Alex from the AIAA who administers these, and we're gonna get to it. So Nicole, why don't you do a quick intro, tell a little bit about you and Estes.
Yeah, sounds good. So for anyone who doesn't know, Estes is a model rocket company. We've been in the STEM business for 62 years. So that was before STEM was a term. We've been doing STEM for a really long time, and Estes rockets have been in classrooms for a really long time. So I'm the director of education, and as Dave mentioned, we've partnered with the PocketLab to put together a really awesome bundle, and it's going to give you an opportunity to, I don't want to give too much away because we're going to unbox the kit at the end of the session, but it's going to give you an opportunity to really engage your students in hands-on learning. And along with that bundle comes some lesson plans that we've created. And Dave, if you don't mind, I just want to take a minute to just talk a little bit about those lesson plans, because as I mentioned, Paul has really set us up for success here. The lesson plans include claims, evidence, reasoning assessments at the end already, which is great. And they really focus on the NGSS. We've got a couple of different physical science standards that are included, as well as the engineering standards. So these lesson plans are a really great resource, and we've made them available for teachers as a PDF, also as a Google Doc or a Microsoft Doc, because I was a former 5th grade teacher and I loved getting free resources online, but you always want to tweak them to be more adaptable for your classroom and your needs. So sometimes a PDF is like, oh, I just want to change this. So we're giving this available for teachers, so you can download, the Google Doc, and you can administer that right to your students in an easy platform.
Nicole, that's fantastic. Thanks. And we have a landing page with all these resources on it. So I'm sure somebody will post this in chat in a second. And so don't worry if you need the links, we will make sure you get all the links on this. So Alex, I want to introduce you to the audience here. Alex, it's great to see you again. How you doing?
Hi, thank you so much. I'm doing great. How are you?
I am great. So Alex is from the AIAA. And tell us about the organization.
Yeah, AIAA rolls right off your tongue. It stands for...
That does. I could say that.
Yeah, it stands for the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics. And we are the world's largest technical society dedicated to aerospace professionals. So we have 30,000 individual members that are comprised of students, of educators, of professionals in government, in private sectors, and startups. And then we have the foundation side, which is the entity responsible for supporting our university students, our K through 12 programs, and our educators.
Okay. And so you do STEM grants?
We do. The reason we're all here today.
Well, so for the teachers, there's money available in these grants. These are classroom grants.
Yes, we have lots of money available for you. So one of the resources that we have for our educators is an educator associate membership. And it's free for all of you to join, and it's super easy. And in a second, I will post a link in the chat so that you can all go there and sign up. When you join as an educator associate member, you are eligible to apply for the classroom grants. And the classroom grants, we're really excited this year to be so committed to teachers that we are doubling our budget. So we have lots of money to give away. We are giving up to $500 to teachers to support you in the classroom. And I know Kathy is going to give you all kinds of tips on how to get that grant, but I definitely would like to encourage everyone to visit our website, join as an educator associate, and apply for those grants, because we're ready to give some money away. And I'll mention the application's open now, so you can apply now through January.
So there's free money. So teachers, just hop on this. Let's put the links. We should put the links in the chat. I don't know if somebody popped them in there. Now there's other, in addition to grants, there's other benefits of signing up. So first of all, signing up is free, right?
Signing up is free. Join now.
So there's no reason you should hop on. All you teachers should hop on and join this. It's a great organization. We've learned so much. They're really trying to help teachers. So definitely jump on that. But there's some other benefits of the organization, right?
Yeah, so along with joining as an educator associate, one of the other ways that we give money away is through our Educator Achievement Award. And that is awarded to 3 outstanding teachers that are doing some really amazing work in the classroom. And we give $5,000 to the school and we give $5,000 to the teacher. And that application is also open right now. So as soon as you join as an educator associate, you also become eligible to be awarded that money as well. And along with some other resources, we have our micro lessons, and these are put together through our K through 12 committee. The K through 12 committee is comprised of educators and engineers, so they do comply with the standards that we have, and there are 95 of them right now. They're posted online on our website, so you could go out and just access those today. You don't have to be a member to get them. However, they are currently going through, the committee now is going through and updating those 95 lesson plans, and as the updates get posted, we communicate that through our educator bulletin. And if you're on our membership listserv, then you'll get that bulletin once a month with the updated micro lessons, along with just some other resources. We partner with a lot of organizations on competitions and challenges for students. So all of that gets communicated and wrapped up into the monthly bulletin.
Do you have, who writes the materials? Do you have people on staff, or do you work with teachers, or?
Yeah, so the micro lessons that we do, we have a staff person that administers things on the backside, but they're all written by educators and engineers.
This is great. I mean, one of the things we hear all the time is 2 things I would say. One is, teachers' budgets are tight. So sometimes it's hard to get materials and so on. So this is free materials for you if you're a teacher. The other thing we hear is, there's a lot of stuff on the internet and the quality level varies dramatically. So these are very high quality resources.
Yeah, and for our micro lessons, they're broken down by grade as well. So they're organized based on the grade level that you teach.
And what's the range of grades?
They're broken down into 4 different levels. I cannot remember the specific range, but I know they're broken down into 4 different categories.
Okay, and now there's a lot of international teachers here. These are in English, right?
They are.
Okay.
And that is a good point to bring up. So they're actually currently right now reorganizing the website, and that's a good thing to bring up to staff is, how can we be more relevant and support our international community as well.
Yeah, and the grants are for US schools, right?
They are. However, I really need to go back and double check on that. We say that it is, but I couldn't find specifically where we mentioned that they're US schools. So I'm going to double check and I'll make sure we update the website regardless of which way it goes. But for comfort level right now, US schools.
Okay. Yeah, that's of course. Everybody.
I know, I'm seeing a lot in the chat about it too, asking.
We have probably, maybe 100 countries attend this. So it's, you'll get a lot of questions. I see people saying it's 3 a.m. there, so they must be in Asia.
Wow.
Yeah,
but this is good feedback because, we want to stay relevant to the international community and provide resources to international members as well. So this is all good information to see all this in the chat, and then I can take it back to AIAA and say, this is where the need is.
So we had, actually, Alex, that's a good point. We've had this discussion at a prior conference. There are people who are willing to translate resources, and they just need to know where it is and that they have permission to do it. And then, rehost it or figure out what arrangements are on attribution or licensing or whatever. But they're free resources, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
and I would imagine maybe there's some kind of Creative Commons license on it or something, or maybe not even. I don't know.
Yeah,
If you
I don't actually know if there is.
Yeah,
That's
these
a
are
good-
interesting questions, right? Yeah, but somebody could translate them and reuse them, and that wouldn't. It sounds like that wouldn't be a problem.
I don't, there's no reason I could think of right now, but I'm going to drop my contact information in the chat and have anybody reach out to me that might be interested in that or has additional questions from the international community about the grants, because I don't have all the answers for you today, but I am more than happy to follow up on some of these questions.
There are 4 people in chat already offering to translate. 4.
Awesome.
So
Then I hope you email
5,
me.
French and German. I see Portuguese, Spanish, French. And
Oh, that's
German.
wonderful. Then I'm going to put my email in there and I hope that you email me and we can start that conversation.
Urdu, I don't know. That would be cool. Geez, well, that would be fantastic, is to crowdsource some translations. Because it's hard to find good content. You can search for something and spend a lot of time vetting it then, and that's not productive
Right.
for a teacher to do.
Exactly.
Oh.
Good point.
Well, okay, so we will figure out how to, everybody on chat, we will figure out how to connect you with Alex, and I would, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I just typed my email address in there, so I expect to be flooded with emails from the community.
There you go. You're brave. What's a nice community? I think you'll be fine there. So that's great. That's a great overview of the AIAA, and you're located in DC, Washington DC, right?
Yes, we're right outside of DC, close to the Dulles Airport for anybody that's traveled through.
This is great. This is really great. Well, okay, so let's bring on Kathy. I want to introduce you. Kathy, you are a teacher extraordinaire. Every time we work with you, it's just such a pleasure.
Oh, thank you.
You have so many skills, from curriculum, teaching, and then curriculum and grants and so on. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, this is my 15th year teaching. I teach at Notre Dame School of Milwaukee, which is an all boys middle school. So I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade boys only. In a hybrid situation right now, unfortunately. Really wish I could have them in person all, but that's life. So yeah, so I've been teaching. Prior to teaching, I was a curriculum designer for the Medical College of Wisconsin. So I love writing curriculum, and I love writing grants because it gets me money. And so the AIAA is a great place for grants, but it's not the only place for grants. So I know there are people concerned in the chat saying, well, what if I'm not looking for rockets? Well, that's okay. There's still other grants out there that you can hook into.
Yeah, I mean, it's the grant writing is grant writing, and you can apply the skill pretty much everywhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really no different than writing lessons. It's really no different than writing lesson plans.
So I know, so by the way, just for everybody who's listening, we do have a Science is Cool Facebook group. You are all welcome. You all should join. It's a private group. You have to ask to enter, but if you're a cool teacher, we'll let you in. There's a lot of times people will post, I've seen many times, people will post grant opportunities there. And, those are great to follow up on and find out more about. So that's a great place to go for resources. We could try and collate more of those there, and that'll help everybody. So Kathy, tell us about how do you, first of all, tell us about the process for the AIAA grants and what you learned about that, and how you've done successful grants with the AIAA, right?
Yes, and I want to give a plug out for the Educator Award, because the Educator Award, in addition to that $5,000, is really awesome. And you get a really cool Apple glass apple that I just love. I was awarded it in 2017. It was a huge thrill to get to go to DC and be with all these famous people who are treating educators like professionals. It was amazing. So it's really cool. AIAA, I love. And yes, I have gotten lots of very nice grants from AIAA. But anytime you're writing a grant, really what you want to find out is what are the objectives of that grant? I mean, what is that organization trying to do? And you want to submit for that. I mean, you're not going to submit to AIAA something that doesn't have anything to do with astronautics. You want to match it. So that's the first thing, is to be really clear what the objectives are of that granting agency, and then match what you're trying to do with them. So that's really number one. And with the AIAA, it's really a pretty easy grant to get. It's $500, and it is it's an amazing opportunity. So I used it a couple of times, a couple of times for rockets, also for electronics, for Little Bits, that company. So there, you think outside the box a little bit, but as long as you're focused on what is that organization, what is their goal, and what is their mission. And this new product that you're going to unbox in a little bit just matches perfectly. And a lot of, if I do say so myself, a lot of it is already done for you, because what AIAA wants to see is how are you going to use their money. They're not just going to give you the money and say, have a good time. They want to see what you're using it for. So you're going to include your materials in your lesson plan. That's all there for you in these lessons from Estes. And your assessments, the connections to NGSS, the connections to the I can statements, all of that is in these lesson plans that match the AIAA grant. So whether you go for the grant or not, the lesson plans are awesome.
So Alex, I see you're muted. I have just a question for you. Do you have an idea in your mind, like what is the range of kind of activities that would apply to this grant? So rocketry, obviously that's a great one. Kathy said some electronics projects or engineering project. What would be kind of the range?
I looked through a few of them recently, and obviously the model rocket kits is a big one. Drone kits was a big one that I saw applications for. Robotics teams and clubs was also a big one that I saw. So it really ranges based on, it just has to identify with a STEM outcome.
Okay, well that's pretty broad. That could be a lot of things, right? Wow. Oh, that's fantastic.
But to Kathy's point, you focus on what the goals of our company and institute is, and that's where the alignment is.
And that information is on the website, and I mean, you got to do a little work and research, right?
A little bit.
A little bit.
We make it easy, as easy as we can, though.
I mean, yeah, that's right. So Kathy, when you sit down to do these, how much time should a teacher budget to write a grant like this?
It certainly depends. For the AIAA grant, again, if you're looking for it for this product that's coming up in a few minutes that you're going to show, a lot of the hard work is already done for you, because we already have it all laid out in how to teach it. We've got, again, the assessments, the NGSS, all that. If you're starting from scratch and you've never done it before, it's going to take a little while. It's going to take a couple of hours. With what we've got, if you're using it for this particular product, it's really all there for you. So you're just going to tweak it a little bit to match your community. You're going to include information about your school, how many students you're going to teach. You're going to talk about how you're going to make what you do important to the community. How are people in your community going to find out about what AIAA did? So you want to talk about how you're going to promote this in your community. But there's not a lot you have to do if you're going to do this directly. And again, it's a $500 grant. And sometimes people are like, well, $500, it's not worth it. Yeah, it is. I've written grants for $200, for $250. It's great. It gets you stuff for your classroom. It gets you, equipment that you can use. So don't, think, well, don't worry about like the federal grants that are billions of dollars. No, we're not talking about that kind of grant. We're talking about grants that are going to get good quality products into your classroom for your students to get excited about STEM, for your students to go out there and learn and want to be in the STEM community. And so Yeah, $500 is a lot. It adds up. I mean, I've had, $30,000 in the last couple of years in little grants. That's great. You should see what I've got in my classroom.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So Kathy, we did from the SCIC group, we did a couple think tanks, and Kathy, you were in one of them. I forget which one you were in, but I do remember going around and asking about budgets, and the budgets for STEM are meager. So some schools have them, but most don't.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of us are paying for it out of our own pockets.
Yeah, that shouldn't.
And that's just reality, and that's just what it is. And so if you can get help to get, again, equipment that's good equipment, but it's also going to be teaching what you need to teach. It's going to help you to reach those standards. It's going to help you to get students, again, excited about STEM. And really, rockets, can you get more fun than rockets?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been shooting rockets off for 35 years and I'm loving it. I still love it. And now that I can put PocketLabs in the rockets, I mean, I actually did that before the products came out.
So yeah, so we've been kind of teasing this product concept, and Nicole, I should have asked you up front. I forgot, but do you have a picture of? So what we did was Nicole and I worked together, and a bunch of other team members from Estes and PocketLab, and we put together a kit that has model rockets and has PocketLabs for data collection. And Nicole, do you want to just throw up a picture really quick, and then we'll have Kathy explain the amazing thing is Kathy developed the curriculum for this, the lesson plans for this. So let's
That's
show.
why I think they're good. They're really high quality people.
I've seen them. They're really good. So
yeah, I can share. I've got a picture, but I also have a video that I could share
let's
first.
Let's do the video.
Yeah, let's do the video. I think the video will be a really good thing to share. So I'm hoping everyone can see the screen here. So this gives you a good idea on the rocket, what it looks like on the launch pad. And you can see here, the PocketLab is right here in the payload section. So I'll let everyone watch this. See if this works. Oh, there it goes. And then we got a nice slow-mo video. Those are the best ones for rocket launches. So yeah, so it's great. The PocketLab fits right into the payload section, and it captures the really great data that students can then come back and analyze and interpret in their classrooms.
That is so cool. I love it. I totally love it.
Yeah.
I just have such great memories of playing around with model rockets. It was really fun. And when we launched PocketLab, our first product launch was on Kickstarter. We showed some model rockets in that as well, by the way.
Very cool. Yep.
I don't know if you remember, that was a few years ago. That was our launch. So that was really cool. So Kathy, you wrote some lesson plans. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, let's talk about them because they're great. So we have a couple of different lesson plans. And they're looking at the difference between mass and weight, and does mass really matter when you're sending a rocket up? And I won't tell you the answer, so you can do it yourself. But we really wanted to be cognizant that not a lot of us are shooting rockets right now because you're virtual. And so there's also a remote version as well as an in-person version. And they really use the data from the PocketLabs to teach the students what happens when you change the mass of a rocket. And so the video that you just saw was actually my husband and I shooting the Green Egg rockets off and collecting data with the PocketLab. So they were real. And that drone footage also was, that's my husband flying the drone over the rockets, because we thought that would be a cool video as well. But the kids watch those. If they are not able to actually put them into the air, they can actually watch the videos and still get data from the PocketLabs and learn how to graph. And I think that this graphing is just crucial. It's something that we need to teach kids how to do, and we don't do a very good job with it. So we give students graphs or tell them to make a graph and say, analyze it. But this lesson plan actually walks you through how to analyze a graph. So it's kind of goes back to what our speaker this morning was saying about maps. If you just hand somebody a map, they don't know how to read it. And if you just hand students a graph, they don't really know what to do with it either. And so these lesson plans really help the students to understand how to read a graph, as well as the other Newton's laws and the other physical science standards that they match. So they cover a lot, and they're very doable. I can tell you, honestly, I've done them all. And so I know that they can be done. They've been tested. So I do recommend them highly. I think they're really a good product.
Well,
and they're free.
And they're free. The lessons,
They're free.
And they're free. What more could you want?
And oh, sorry, go ahead, Dave.
I was gonna say, what data are they graphing?
So specifically, they're looking at altitude, acceleration. In the actual one where they are shooting or launching the rockets off, they're also looking at time. In the remote one, the time was it was really hard to calculate. The difference just wasn't that great. So we look mostly at acceleration, and we do walk you through how to use the PocketLab as well, putting it into the rocket, because it takes a little bit of orientation, but that's included as well in the lesson so that people are comfortable if they haven't ever used a PocketLab or if they haven't used a rocket before. And I can't tell you enough how exciting it is to use rockets with students. Students love rockets, and it really does get them excited. So it's always my capstone experience for 8th grade, and kids are waiting. They're waiting until they get to 8th grade so they can launch rockets. So it was really disappointing not to have that this May, but that's okay.
Well,
Maybe next May.
Well, but it's outdoors, right?
Right.
So that has some benefits, but you have to have kids coming to the classroom, right? Basically.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, could students build the rockets at home? The rockets come with very good instructions. Might be a little daunting for a first-time rocket builder, but Estes has got great videos and things to show people how to build. So there's no fear there. But for the actual launch, I think you'd want to gather the students.
Yeah.
Just safety.
Yeah, and there's a first time you definitely want to give some guidance. But there's a lot of questions here in grade levels. Like so you're saying you do it for 8th grade, but you could do it much younger than that, right?
Oh, absolutely. And Estes has products that are for small guys too. So for more like snap rockets that are snapping together as opposed to gluing. And so the dexterity, if you're working with younger students, those rockets would certainly work. These lessons right now, the new lessons, there's lessons on the Estes site already, but the new lessons are right now the middle school. We're aiming at middle school to update those right now.
Okay. So
the ones I wrote were middle school. You could certainly do it with 6th grade. I think you could do, these lessons could be adaptable down to probably 4th or 5th, and probably up to 9th or 12th, really.
Yeah.
Because graphing, I mean, you could get really into the graphing. You could get more into that with older kids.
Well, you're actually getting some rich data too. So for sure you could make an AP activity out of this. It seems to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the data is amazing that you get from the PocketLab. There's just so much. You have to decide what you're going to use.
What you're going to use. And, you mentioned this too, but so Nicole, we've had, your Estes air rockets for years, and we've Velcroed PocketLabs to them. So you can, there's different Estes products that this could go on. So
yeah, definitely. The product that we've put together, it's really nice because the PocketLab fits right inside the rocket. But of course, you could test it out with other rockets. It just might require some creative thinking to get that done.
Yeah. Well, yeah, with duct tape and it works.
Yeah, stuff like that. I'm not saying that. Dave said that.
But so what we should do? We should just show this off and
I think so.
You ready?
I'm ready. I have my kit right next to me. Do you have your kit?
I have my kit. I have my handy dandy pocket knife I was going to open up. You sent me 2 boxes. Which one do I open first? The big one,
I think the big one, open the big one first.
the one that says, so by the way, it says it's going to explode. So
No, you're okay. It's not going to explode, I promise.
Okay.
Those
So
are the
while
boxes you
opening
want to open.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But you know what? So I think you had, I don't know if Kathy, I think you mentioned this. So we actually did quite a bit of work putting this together and creating a project, a kit that has curriculum. Like you said, the rocket fits with it. The PocketLab fits in the rocket. It's kind of thought through the whole thing, right? So I think that's kind of what's unique about this.
Is that a box within a box? It might be.
There's a box in the box.
Yeah, that's great. Well, while you're getting that open, Dave, I will just mention that what we've done is we've put together some rockets, some rocket engines, some launch pads, and PocketLabs all together, so you can just buy it all at once. And right now we've got this entire bundle at a really low price, about $582, which is almost covering the cost of the AIAA grant. And there you can see, as Dave's opening.
I have about a dozen rockets. Do I have?
Yeah, you got 12 rockets. That's what it comes with. It comes with 12.
Well, I have 12 rockets.
12 rockets.
So this is the whole kit, right? This has the fin.
That's the whole kit. And this is what it looks like when you build it. I'll hold it up so everyone.
Where'd you
PocketLab is right in there.
Where'd you come up with the name Green Eggs?
Yeah, it's the Green Eggs, and it's about a 2-foot rocket, so it's pretty big. Getting a lot of 12 large rockets.
Where's the ham?
Yeah, we forgot the ham.
Okay, so this has the rocket engines.
Does the engines, yeah. These are the rocket engines here.
So this is why it had the hazardous label on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And then there's another box here. This is for the price. There's a lot of stuff here. This is
Got a lot of stuff for this, yeah. So I'm seeing some questions about launching safely.
So this is a launch station, is that right? Or a launch?
Yeah, that's your launch pad. And just so all the teachers on this call know that these launch pads are called our lifetime launch systems. They are designed for teachers to be more durable, and they do have a lifetime warranty if you register them on our website. So we all know that kids have a habit of breaking stuff. So the launch controller that Dave's holding, as well as the launch pad itself, if anything happens to it and you register online, you'll get a free replacement if anything happens to it.
So this is the assembly for the launch pad, the like legs and everything, right?
Yeah.
This is great. And then this is the I don't know what you call this, the metal pole that the rocket goes on, right?
The launch rod, yeah.
Launch rod.
That's
Launch
Yep,
rod.
that's what it's called.
So you basically have everything here. When I was a kid, so I played with these when I was a kid. I loved it. I thought, this is that little round launch plate, the circular plate that goes in the bottom. That's really just to protect the launch pad from the rocket, right?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I thought that if you didn't have this, the rocket wouldn't go anywhere. It was allowing the rocket to like push.
No, it still goes.
Well, no, I know. So then I learned, right? I learned that.
Right, and then you learned.
Force, the force shoots the rocket up. So you basically have everything you need here. There's nothing else you need.
There's nothing else you need. So if you buy this classroom kit, you get, as Dave's holding up, 12 rocket kits. And then as the lesson plan that Kathy made outlines that students typically would work in groups. We know, of course, this year it's a little bit more challenging. So 12 rockets would be enough for an entire class. We give you enough engines to have each group launch twice, a lifetime launch system that's yours to keep forever, and 2 PocketLabs that also come with it so that you can have 2 PocketLabs going at the same time on your 2 launch pads. So it's a pretty good deal for all the things that you get.
This is a great deal. This is really a great deal. And the engines, I got the engines here and everything. Wow.
Yeah, you get everything.
There's little wires that go in the engines with the launch controller. I forget all the terminology here. This is the launch controller, right?
Yep, that's the launch controller. So when you have all your students ready to launch, you attach clips that are on the wires attached to the launch controller. You would attach those to the bottom of the rocket here with a starter, and then you have all your kids stand back, and then everyone counts down just like a real rocket launch, and then you get to launch your rocket. So and what's great about this is there's a lot of excitement going on in the aerospace industry right now. We're going to be hearing from NASA a little bit later, their Artemis program and getting men and the first woman on the moon. I'm sure everyone's seen a lot over the summer with SpaceX launching their astronauts up to the International Space Station. So it's a really great time to get your kids excited about aerospace, and launching rockets is a great way to do that. And I want to reiterate Kathy's point that we do understand, of course, that I think from that beginning poll that everyone took, there's such a good amount of teachers that are teaching remotely. That's close, Dave. It's not quite right.
No. I gotta go launch some rockets this afternoon. Nicole, you're in charge the rest of the day.
Okay.
There was a good question. There's a good question in the chat that just related to what Nicole just said about could you do this remotely and then stage it again if you had hybrid and you have some students in that are real and some virtual. Absolutely.
Yes.
You really could, and it would be great. And they'd miss kind of the smell of the engine and the whoosh and the sounds a little bit, but absolutely you could do this yourself and videotape yourself, or if you have a husband with a drone, he could take drone pictures of it and share that with the kids as well.
Yeah, so adding on to what Kathy just said, we did create the same lesson plan, just a remote version of it. So we have a video available of Kathy launching the rocket that you could show your students. And we have all the graphs available in this lesson plan that your students can analyze, interpret, and then follow up with that claims, evidence, reasoning assessment. So if you're wanting to do rocketry in your classroom, but you're teaching remote or hybrid, or you're just not feeling like that's something you could do this year, that's right, Dave.
Oh, no, I get the fin side wrong. So
that's not right.
No,
but we do have that remote version available. So you could do this lesson completely for free, and you could use the video that we've already provided for you. But if you want to make your own video, we actually have a teacher kit that has just enough for you to launch the rocket and make your own video on your own. So that is totally up to you. So we've tried to make it as flexible as possible, knowing the situation that many teachers are in right now. This
is fantastic. I want to come back to that. You said something important that we observed this too. So we recorded these lessons. Talk about fun, right? We recorded these lessons with Neil deGrasse Tyson, Chuck, and Cliff did. He did the models and the actual collecting data. But what occurred to me watching that is, if you are remote, you have the data. And then once you have the data, you can graph it, you can analyze, you can observe the rocket. And you could do this in a remote scenario and have the kids really kind of go through the hypothesis and then the data and come up with the conclusions. Mm-hmm. It's not as fun, but you could, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And that's the Kathy, why don't you talk about it? You
That's
made
okay.
it.
I didn't mean to talk over you, Nicole. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got excited. I can't help myself. No, absolutely. So yes, the students still could manipulate variables. They still can identify variables. They're still looking at writing hypotheses. I mean, these are all things that are crucial to kids doing lab experiences and lab reports and things. So they do come up with a lab report. It's again, it's not as great, but it is, it certainly works. And you could do it now, and then in spring, when we're back with all our kids in person, maybe actually do the rocket launch. So that would be great too. So I see you're putting your PocketLab
Yep.
in. Okay, there is an
Right,
orientation.
right.
You got to be careful with the orientation, but you do have to put that in. Yeah.
Yeah, it is the button, right?
Right.
Or yeah, and then you want to know what axis is pointing what direction, right?
Yes. Yeah. And so I do want to say, somebody in the chat also asked about the PocketLabs. They do work via Bluetooth, so you're connected via your phone, so you just download the data from your phone as it's when it's done launching. And a lot of concern about is the safety of the PocketLab. Is the PocketLab going to be okay? We've launched a lot of rockets with PocketLabs, and we've been great. That depends on how well you put your parachute on. If you don't put your parachute on, your rocket's not going to come down as nicely. But it should come down. No PocketLabs were harmed in the testing.
We're generous with we hardly get any replacements. These are pretty indestructible, but our general policy is if you do something really cool with the PocketLab and you blow it up, as long as you take a picture of it and put it on social media, we'll give you a replacement.
That's great.
You have to do something cool though. You have to have it on camera.
But now I have a challenge. I have something. Thanks for the challenge. I appreciate
it. Nicole, did you design this to fit a PocketLab?
No, it just worked out that way.
Okay.
I wish I could say yes, but I think that's a future project that we should work on.
Yeah,
PocketLab could get its own rocket down the line.
That would be cool. Would love.
That would be cool.
Would love to do that.
Yeah.
It does fit an egg.
It fits an egg too. Okay.
It also fits an egg.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if you could put other payloads in this, but I think Kathy, that was your point. The lesson is, does mass matter? So you would put the additional mass in the payload, or
yes,
you can use like washers or weights, or
we actually use pennies. So I use pennies. Yeah, you have to be careful. You don't want to put too much weight or too much mass, into the payload, or you're going to have an unsafe rocket. So you want to be careful with that. So there are limits to how much you can put in, but that is actually what the lesson is. So in person, the students decide how many pennies they're going to put in, 0 to 10. And then in the remote lesson, we make the decision for them. We put 0 and 10 in it, so that they can see the difference in what the effect was on the altitude and the acceleration.
See, I see people are catching on already. I say this is from Ash Bystrom. You can set up different rockets with different payloads, and it could be remote, and the students could, the teacher could explain what's going on. The students could analyze the data.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. But again, within limits, there's some constraints as to how much weight you can put in the
Right. And then, so Alex, I see you're on mute, but just to bring in the conversation, this is, if somebody wrote a grant for this project and this curriculum and everything, this is what you want to see, right?
Exactly. This ties into the interest in aerospace, and the grant money could help you get this bundle.
So teachers, I don't know what you're waiting for. You should be on the site right now writing a grant for this. This would be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Oh, Alex, we should mention the timing. So there's a window for your grants. And what is that window?
Right. So the grants are currently open right now, and they will be open until, I believe it's mid-January, and then they get evaluated and teachers are notified in March.
Perfect timing for spring, right?
There you go.
That's, most of the country where you want to go out and have the kids go out, and they need something to keep them to do, right?
Maybe we'll be back in person by then.
I hope so.
I hope so. I'm sure we all hope so.
There is just a million questions here. I think we're going to have to, I don't know if we're going to be able to answer all of them, but Nicole and Kathy and Alex, you can stick around for a little bit and answer some of these other questions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
happy to.
definitely.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, I will send out information on that. There's a landing page that has all of the information about the AIAA, the bundle, and the lesson plans, so that you can find that all in one place. I'm happy to stick around and answer questions on the chat. And I'll also put my email address up as well. So if anyone has any specific questions for me, feel free to reach out at any time.
Yeah, and there's been posted a couple times. So for this project, I think one of the important things, Nicole and Kathy, to mention, the reason why we worked, so PocketLab and Estes, we worked together, and Nicole was gracious enough to find Kathy and get her involved in this. And Kathy, really appreciate you. But the reason we—
Are you kidding? It's rockets, it's PocketLab, and it's writing curriculum. It's the hat trick.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, so I think part of the point is that if you're a teacher and you want to put together an activity like this yourself, it's a big job if somebody doesn't curate it for you, because you have to write the lessons. You have to, buy the Estes kit. You have to buy the PocketLab. Does the PocketLab fit or not? Does the lesson apply? How many rockets do I need? There's all these questions. That's a lot of time for a teacher. And what we tried to do is to do pretty much all of this for you, so that now you have the activity. And the hard part is the money. And Alex, that's why you're here. So there's actually a grant for this too, which is, so the idea is hopefully it saves a lot of time for teachers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't just, guys, do it. Fill out the form and try for grants. There are so many organizations that have to turn money back, or who don't get to use all the money they have allotted for grants. That's awful. The grant money is sitting there. They want to give it to us. They want to give it to the teachers. So it's just a matter of taking the moments to do it. It's so worth it.
So Alex,
we doubled our budget, so apply.
Double the budget. So is that true, Alex, that sometimes you don't give away all the money?
Yeah, I mean, it can happen for sure, but I'm hoping that we don't have that issue this year with all of the participants that we have on the call today, the easy steps it takes to apply, the fact that we're telling you we have the money and all you have to do is apply. So I don't anticipate that being the case this year. So please apply.
Well,
hey, wait a minute. This is going to hurt my chances, isn't it? I just realized that. Why am I telling people about this?
Yeah, there you go. There's a problem. But Alex, if you had just a ton of teachers applying for this, you would increase the budget for the next round, right?
It would make a really good case for the need that's out there, and that AIAA is there to help the teachers, and it just makes that case stronger when we're budgeting next year.
So there's so many great questions. Just quickie, can two teachers work together on a grant? Yeah, sure, why not, right?
Yeah,
like if you have two teachers in the same school work together on one large or one project grant.
Yeah, it would still be the same value that goes to the up to 500, but yeah, I don't see why you can't collaborate. Yeah. It is limited to two grants for each school. So I'm sorry, you could essentially get 2 grants.
2 grants to a school. Okay, well there you go. That's great. And there's another one I want to do. So somebody's asking here, what is the best way to find grant opportunities? Let me just say we have a Science is Cool Facebook group, and there's a lot of organizations that post their grant opportunities. So definitely everybody listening, go and join that. Somebody will post the link to the Facebook group. And there's stuff, by the way, there's a lot of teachers helping other teachers there. It's a great community. I see Scott, thank you, Scott, posted it. We'll definitely post this information there, but I've seen many other organizations post grants, and not just US. I know a lot of people are saying, can I get these out of the US? I've seen a lot of international agencies posting grant information. So definitely use that as a resource. This is really, really great. We're out of time. It's killing me.
Goes by so fast.
I'm gonna sit here gluing my rocket together during the other presentation. Or maybe by the end of the day, I'll have mine assembled.
Send me pictures.
Yeah, I will. This is really cool. Alex, thank you so much from the AIAA. Kathy, you're amazing as
Thank you.
it's so much fun working with you. Nicole, thank you for working
you.
together with PocketLab on this. This has been a fun project, hasn't it?
Yeah, this has been an awesome project. I think there's a lot more to come, so stay tuned, everyone.
Stay tuned. We'll do more of these. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.